automata, a moving mechanical device made in imitation of a human being. Throughout history, humanity has tried to breathe life into metal and wood. These creations were called automata, self-moving machines. But beneath their wonder lies a deeper question. If we can make life, what does that make us? The story begins in ancient Greece. In the 1st century, the engineer hero of Alexandria described temples where doors opened by themselves, statues moved, birds sang, and flames seemed to burn by divine will. To the crowds, these were miracles. To Hero, they were mechanics, clever illusions powered by hidden pressure, weights, and steam. His writings vanished from the West for over 1,000 years, but they survived in Arabic translation, spreading across empires that saw in them not tricks, but power. In the great courts of Baghdad, knowledge became spectacle. Caliphs commissioned fountains that danced, clocks that sang, and mechanical servants who poured drinks and offered towels to astonished guests. One man, the engineer Al-Jazari, wrote of such marvels in the 12th century. His book of ingenious devices described programmable fountains, automatic musicians, and timepieces more complex than anything seen before. These automata were not toys. They were emblems of divine order, demonstrations of the ruler's mastery over nature and over men. Centuries later, the West rediscovered these machines. When automata arrived in Christian Europe, they entered a world obsessed with miracles and faith. In medieval churches, statues of Christ and the Virgin Mary were seen to move, to nod, to weep. Some were miracles, others mechanical illusions. Hidden pulleys made saints bow, pipes and fluids mimicked tears. Worshippers were awed, but beneath the piety was deception and control. The church's great clocks and animated altars transformed wonder into obedience. The divine became a machine. From medieval minds, automata occupied a strange space, not natural, but not supernatural either. They belonged to what scholars call the preternatural, the realm of the strange, the unexplainable, the almost magical. To witness a lifelike machine was to doubt your senses. Is it alive? Is it possessed? Or is it merely a reflection, a mirror showing us how fragile our definitions of life truly are? By the 17th century, philosophy had begun to unravel the mystery. Thinkers like Descartes looked at these machines and saw a terrifying possibility. If they could imitate us so perfectly, maybe we too are machines. Descartes wrote that animals were automata, soulless mechanisms made of flesh instead of brass. And perhaps, he whispered, humans were the same, just more complicated clockwork, animated by an invisible spark we call the soul. He would stare from his window in Amsterdam, watching people walk past and wonder, are these people or automata? As centuries passed, the machine became our mirror. In the Industrial Revolution, the automaton ceased to be a curiosity. It became a worker. Jacquard looms, mechanical weavers, programmable engines. The line between laborer and machine blurred. Factories filled with iron lungs and endless gears. Men and women became extensions of the devices they once controlled. Writers saw the horror first. Karl Marx described the machine as a Moloch, devouring children in its gears. And from that horror came the stories we still know. Frankenstein, Metropolis, the Time Machine, each one a warning, each one whispering, you have created life, and it no longer needs you. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, written in 1816, is not just a story of a monster, it's a story of creation without foresight. A man tries to imitate the divine act of giving life, and in doing so, becomes a god without mercy. The automaton, in all its forms, is our reflection, stripped of soul, but full of reason, a body animated by will, but not morality. In the 19th century, the obsession deepened. Artisans built clockwork birds, lifelike dolls, and artificial musicians. Some played flutes, others wrote poetry. Observers marveled and recoiled. Stories like E.T.A. Hoffman's The Sandman blurred the line between machine and woman, sanity and delusion. A man falls in love with a lifelike automaton and goes mad when he learns the truth. To Freud, this was the birth of the uncanny. That eerie feeling when something is almost human, but not quite. It is the shiver we feel when a reflection moves on its own. When Alan Turing proposed his imitation game, what we now call the Turing test, he wasn't inventing a new question. He was reviving an old one. If a machine can convince us it thinks, if it can mimic life so perfectly that we cannot tell the difference, does it become alive? Or does it merely reveal how easily we are deceived? From heroes' temples to AI chatbots, the thread is unbroken. Every age rediscovers the automaton, and every age fears what it sees in its glass eyes. The history of automata is not the history of machines. It is the history of ourselves, of our arrogance, our longing to create life, and our terror of what happens when it obeys too well. The automaton is the shadow of humanity, a perfect reflection of our form, but empty inside.